are. Here we go. Back at it again. Thank you everyone for joining today on That One Bond Guy Meets. Is a brand new series that I'm starting to meet everyone within the Bond community. Last week I met up with Joe Darlington from Being James Bond. We had a really great conversation there. And today I have none other than my great friend Carmen from what is it?
Montreal.
Yes, we go. There we go. So, thanks, bro, for coming on. Thanks for taking time out of your day for joining me, and
Like,
just
well,
let everyone know. Like, what do you like? What do you do? Who are you?
well, to begin, since the fact that I am just wasted the first 2 hours of my day to do this recording, which I'm happy to do. Um, I much like so preserve and show my admiration of the legendary spy himself, 007, on my YouTube account, and it all started off with um, watching GoldenEye when I was 8 years old. And at that time, I was a bit of a Batman fan. I felt like finding something new in my life. So I saw GoldenEye first time on TV, watched half of it, and then watched the whole thing. But yeah, and later on from there, I went to go start talking about James Bond and everything until I forgot all about it. And then I reclaimed it like 2 years ago, and here I am today.
Sweet, sweet. So, I know me and you both are kind of the youngest out of this Bond community, and I
Yeah,
mean, I we know Harris Thomas is he's like 20 in his late 20s, I believe, and he's
yeah,
technically the youngest out of the whole group, And I think it's pretty cool that a lot of people are popping up, but at the same time, it feels kind of like everyone is wanting to have that rush of making it big in the Bond community, which is super cool. But at the same time, I was talking to Joe Darlington about this, and he said, once the movie dies out, after it's premiered and after we watched it and the reviews about it have been done and such, he feels like a lot of the smaller accounts and smaller YouTube channels are gonna kind of fade away because they're gonna kind of get bored with it and stuff. So I mean, I'm sure you see yourself going on past the movie, right? You see yourself wanting to make this a whole lifestyle thing and want to, eventually be able to meet David Zaritsky, everyone else out there in the Bond community that we know. I mean, that's certainly my goal as well. And I think, um, I mean, I love the content that you show. I mean, I love the reviews and how you comment on everything. I think it's super cool.
yeah.
How you contribute to the Bond community. Let's see, the question I do have for you is like, what's your most favorite part about James Bond? Like, what about it attracts you? What about it makes you feel like this is super cool? This is my thing.
Well, from that point, that's actually a good question because I did, however, cover this up in a podcast I did on Global James Bond Day with the James Bond Complex. And much like so, I would say his lifestyle. I'm gonna say his lifestyle because he dresses, appears, and acts very, very formal in front of not only his companions, his workers, his allies, but also to women and others as well. And people want to sort of see 007 as that pretty much that very um, charming and respectful businessman indeed, who has respect for everything
Mhm.
and shows off in a variety of like lots of good good ass fashion
Oh
and
yeah,
tons of stuff
I hear.
through women, the Aston Martins,
Oh
the
yeah,
car, yeah, the Aston Martins, the the watches, wink wink,
yep,
and through just the gadgets as well that you get from Q Branch itself, Major
yeah.
Boothroyd. And most of it, of course, I like I like more of what goes on in the novel than in the films. I'll admit
Mhm.
to that right now.
Okay.
And on my Instagram account, I actually try to do more of get more into the novels than the films because I think if you look at all the Bond like accounts across like from Darlington's to Justin Lake Bond, you're gonna know like they always cover up everything that goes on in the Bond franchise films,
Yeah.
and that's kind of it. It's the novels.
So you're
So I
saying
know
your thing is kind of like the novels. You want to bring up more, talk about the novels more than the movie franchise per se.
because I think the novel franchise is more interesting um, than the films itself.
It's interesting. That's awesome. Yeah.
Even though the film made a huge box office success,
hmm
I still think the novel should actually be more preserved than the films itself.
Yeah, I mean, a lot of people don't even realize, all the new, like the newer, younger generation, I feel like, don't even realize that the Bond franchise is all thanks to Ian Fleming's novels. It wasn't because of Ian Fleming's novels. The movies wouldn't have been made. And it's a lot of that's where the source is. The novels is where the source is, and that's where you get the very small, minute details about James Bond that will actually, as a Bond fan and as somebody who loves Bond, I believe if you read the novels and the movies, you'll have so much knowledge that the average person who just watches the movies might have. And yeah, that's really interesting. I like that aspect about how you want to include the novels more so and put them into a bigger light than the movies, which is pretty cool. I mean, not a lot of people actually do that. I mean, I've seen a lot of posts and like fan art of different like novel covers and people sitting reading novels, taking pictures and all that, but no one's really like wanting to talk about how awesome and how interesting the novels are like you, and I think that's pretty cool. So thank you for bringing that to the table.
Oh, no problem, no problem. Um, if anything, like starting now, like aside from all the panels that are going on later in the future, such as Comic Con's coming up in July and Operation Snowfall and a few others, I do ever just want to like concentrate more on my Instagram account and a few other things and just like come up with ideas. And possibly sooner or later, I'm having a co-host as well, so that's kind of a good thing.
Yeah, and that kind of leads me on to my next question is like, what are you planning to do with your for Montreal with Love Instagram page and whatever other outlets you have? What is your like plan for the future? Like, what
My
do you
plan
want
is,
to do?
well, for the future of this Instagram account is to expand
hmm
and, of course, not only have the whole system of Montreal Love not to only be, no offense, but not to only be the English language, but also in other languages as well. Because the fact is, with Montreal Love, I post some content that's only in French, that's mostly all in English, and once in a while I have it in French and Italian. So I actually want to have like a system within, and that's why I'm thinking like in one part I'll do an English version, another part will be French, and a half will be Italian.
That's
So
pretty
like it
cool.
becomes
Yeah,
like
I mean, yeah, that's interesting because you are Italian and you want to bring your culture into that piece of the bond and like incorporating both aspects into it, and that's interesting. Not a lot of people. Well, it's pretty cool. Not a lot of people do that. Um, but yeah, more about you. Let's see. What are your top three Bond films that you would, if you could only have these three Bond films to watch for the rest of your life? What three Bond films would you have to have?
it would be the classics. It would be On Her Majesty's Secret Service.
Okay.
That follow that the film Six follows everything that occurred in the novel. A second one, I'm gonna say Live and Let Die, and I'll let Skyfall with it. So okay, I know it's two films on the second one, and on the third one it would be Goldfinger.
Okay. So you're saying on Her Majesty's, Live and Let Die, and Goldfinger are your top three. That's cool. Why? Why? Just out of curiosity, why are those your three favorites?
Well, I already talked about On Her Majesty's
Yeah,
for Live and Let Die because I think like Roger Moore's first outing as Bond and Live and Let Die was was just the best of the best, and it just brought out the Bond himself, and he actually nailed it when he played James Bond,
hmm
and it was just really fantastic. Like the locations, the opening scene with my favorite artist, Sir Paul McCartney,
Oh yeah,
and just all it's like it's a good movie to watch. I consider it a bit of a comedy as well. Like I would
yeah.
consider it a bit was a bit funny,
Definitely.
and just
Yeah.
it's just great.
I think, Roger Moore, because he's one of my, I would watch him any day. He's known for going into being Bond like older than the rest of the actors that played Bond.
Yeah,
But he nailed it. Like he is always going to be a memorable Bond. You'll always remember him. And I think there was a post a while ago I saw. I was going through my feed, and they like took a picture of Brosnan, Connery, and Moore, and they all said, Brosnan was the charming Bond, and then Sean Connery was the iconic Bond, and then Roger Moore was an entertaining Bond. And I thought that was actually kind of spot on because Roger Moore, he can be serious, but at the same time he's really entertaining and he does a really good job on balancing both. So I agree with you on that. Um, Dream location. What would be a dream like to go out and like a Bond location you'd love to go and visit one day?
oh, that's a good one. Well, actually, I forgot to mention Goldfinger, but Goldfinger's a Bond classic. I will watch it.
That is true.
Um, yeah. For locations, um, it would be what's that? Do you want someone in Turkey? Istanbul. There you go, Istanbul.
Okay. Yeah. Nice.
From Mutual Love, and it's actually really not bad. Istanbul. It's like really beautiful. I always thought about going there one day as like a vacation before I go anywhere around the world,
Hmm.
and that's kind of it. Really, like
Nice.
Istanbul is really like a nice place. I do also want to go to New York, however.
Hmm.
There's like also a few relics that were seen in Live and Let Die,
Hmm.
and maybe possibly Las Vegas.
Oh, you got to do that. Yeah.
Why
That
not?
from Diamonds Are Forever, right? That's the iconic scenes from there. Him driving the car through the strip. That's
Yeah.
really
Speaking about that car over there, the Mustang Mach 1
that.
that
Yeah.
had a very own supercharged V8 engine within it, and with the 0-60 and I think under
And there's like,
seconds ish.
yeah, that's about right. Yeah.
Yeah.
Um.
Apparently Ford's making a version of that, but an electric version and an SUV. And
Oh, the
mind you,
electric
if
the
it,
electric SUV. I've seen that. Yeah, that's interesting. I don't know. I'm a car
you
guy.
know,
I know you know that, but like I gotta be
we both
traditionalist. I like to have an engine in my car. I don't know. All these new electronic cars and Teslas and all that. And I know a lot of people are gonna be like, "What are you talking about? Teslas are amazing. There's no engine in it. What if I want to go mess
uh,
around and do my own
well,
customizations? I don't know."
yeah. Honestly, like it makes me sad to see electric cars on the road right now because I love old ass cars like V8, V12, 6 cylinders,
Classics. Yep.
like those things. I rather see like a classic car on the road instead of like the new ones today because the electric one is just boring.
Right.
Instead, including those Priuses, I can't handle a Toyota
Yeah.
Prius. I'm sorry, but I
Right.
hate Priuses.
Right. Yep. Apparently, it's London's favorite Uber car. Like, it's literally when I went to London, every Uber we were in was a Prius. I was like, oh my goodness. There was one time we were about to get a BMW, and I was like, oh really? And then he canceled on us, and then the next guy had a Prius, and I was like, okay, of course. But anyways, yeah. So I mean, let's see. We got your favorite Bond films. What about your? Here's a good one. How about what's your like least favorite Bond films? Like ones that because I know for me, they're the ones that, and I think it's for everybody. And I remember hearing Joe Darlington on this latest podcast with Peter Brooker talk about the Bond films that we don't really watch a lot tend to kind of be our least favorites. But I mean, I kind of disagree. I mean, some of the ones that I don't watch too often are kind of the ones that I forget about, and then when I watch them, I realize they're pretty good. But what are
My
your
least favorite is the
favorites?
unofficial ones.
Which ones?
The unofficial Bond films are my least,
Okay.
and no, I'm gonna say Quantum of Solace and Die Another Day.
Okay, that's fair. Yeah,
Yeah,
I mean, I would watch them because I love all Bond films, but I feel it, you know. But let's see. So I don't know. What is like an event? I know you're talking about going to an event coming up there soon. Where
in
could
March.
or in March. Like, tell me about that.
So, coming up in March, apparently it's not going to call Operation Snowfall Part 2. It's already named, it's already an event, already named it, and
Hmm.
it's already hosted by Dylan on to the Pid podcast. And it's going to happen on March 6th, so 2 days before my 18th birthday. And it's going to be at Place César in downtown Montreal. And it's going to see Royale in concert, in which him, me, of course, as always, and let's hope I do, will be present there. And a few other people, I don't know who, but I know is this event's occurring in March and we'll be going. Sadly, though, I will not be attending the Skyfall concert in Toronto whatsoever because I'll be busy in February already. So, yeah.
Hmm. Yeah, that's the one where everyone's going to, right? The Skyfall
Mm.
concert. Like David
Yeah.
Zaritsky, I think Joe Darlington
So,
and John Spazer, all those guys are going to head over there. I'd love to go over to that one because I'd get to meet them. Um, Now, I told Joe Darlington how bad I wanted to go to Operation Gatherall, and I was going to, but financially I couldn't. I couldn't find a place to stay, but I'm going to London to study abroad in the summer. I know we talked about this, and that's
uh,
more exciting to me because I'll actually be in London for a month, meaning I'm going to go to all the Bond locations that I can. Take pictures where the Bond, where kind of like Harris Thomas. I love his idea of like taking pictures of where Bond was, like the movie scene, and then inserting like taking the picture now of where he's standing, like right where Bond stand or stood rather. And I thought that was such a great idea, and I want to do the same. Um, so time permitting, I have no idea what I'll be doing with the school at that point, but that's something I'm definitely going to do along with going to all the different shops, all the Bond brand stores, especially with the new ones coming up like NPL and Albert Brown, checking the stuff out. But that's kind of like what my future, like that's what I have to look forward to in the future is going to London for a month and doing a whole, I mean, my Instagram will be flooded with content, whether it's pictures or videos of everything. So, I mean, yeah. Um, So that kind of leads me to the closing question per se,
go
and
ahead.
that is, what is one of the greatest things, or some of the I've asked. I'm going to ask everybody this: what is the greatest thing, or well, we'll start off with the bad. What is kind of like sometime like something you struggled with being a Bond influencer, being someone who's trying to be out there in the Bond community, something you kind of struggled with, and then something that allowed you to feel like really good, something that was positive and super cool about this whole Bond community thing?
Trying to get it up, try to like, uh, hook up with this, try to get to more into, trying to get to more update with all your Bond fan accounts, see what they're posting lately on their daily basis, and of course, trying to also attend panel events that goes on here in Canada, and that's kind of much it. But I know for a fact that later in this year in 2020, I'm going big for this one. I'm going rogue with Casino Royale and concert coming up, the Comic Con event, and whatever comes up along, I'm going to try my best to attend here in Canada. And then later in the future, I'm going to try to do my best to actually maybe try to head out to the United States. And that's kind of it. And on this account as well, I'm going to try to expand, um, put more YouTube videos, try to make a Facebook page, and maybe like get in touch with other Bond fan accounts like you did with Joseph and a few other people. So that's kind of it.
Yeah, awesome. Well, that sounds great, and I look forward to seeing everything. And I hope you and I could do something together as well. I'm open to maybe one day
I
coming
hope
to you,
soon.
and then you coming down to here, whatever. We could do something together. I know for me, I was talking to Joe, and I said I kind of want to have like a Bond movie night, like during in the summer. I have like a projector that I and like a big sheet that I could. I have a kind of a big front yard, so I was going to like set it up in the yard and then get some speakers and make a Facebook event or something, and invite all like Bond fans or people to my house and watch a Bond film under the stars or something like that. I thought that would be pretty cool because one thing I'm finding it hard is finding people that enjoy Bond as much as we do. That's in
Yeah.
my community. I mean, I love everybody. One of the greatest things for me as well is finding friends that are abroad, like you and everyone else that's in London, everywhere, anywhere else, and that's super cool. Even people like me that are on the East Coast, and that's really cool. But one thing I think would
On
be
the
awesome
West Coast, up east.
is yeah. Oh, sorry, yeah. And one thing I think would be really cool is having people, in my area as well, just getting together
Yeah.
and starting my own thing. But anyways, that's for future stuff, as the weather gets better, and I'll worry about that when it gets, we'll cross that bridge when we get there, as
Yeah.
we could say. But again, thank you so much for taking time out of your evening, because I know it's evening over there. It's probably really
You know,
late.
it's 3 o'clock in the morning over here.
Whoa, yeah, really late. So, wow, thank you so much for taking that time. I mean, I know you have important things to do,
Okay.
but again, thank you so much. And I had a really great time getting to know you better and, doing something face to face. And I think we'll be able to do more stuff like this in the future. And I look forward to it.
It's a pleasure. I can't wait for that soon as well. And I just hope, like, in the later future, we meet up soon. We hang out more. And if
Of
that
course.
ever happens, that event, like backyard, you damn right. I'm getting my passport. I'm coming to California. I'll come.
Hey,
I'll
I
send.
don't care if I have to show all 24 Bond movies until you have to come. I'll do it for you, bro. I'm excited for it. So, Um, you have a good evening. You have a good morning, rather. Get some rest, and I know you have a busy day ahead of you, busy week. So I will talk to you soon. All right. Thanks for being on the. Thanks for being on that one Bond guy meets. That's awesome. Thank you so
No
much.
problem.
All right.
I'll
Bye.
send you soon on Snapchat, right?
Yeah, I'll see you soon. Bye.
Okay.